This is a small gym in Middlesbrough. It's held together with duct tape, cable ties and dreams. The people I'm training with are electricians, workies, plumbers, barbers, and they were coming in to help me achieve this goal, fighting against someone who was training in the premier gym in the world, training with Makhachev and Khabib.
For the longest time, we were the only pro MMA fighters in Teesside were me and George. And now, Middlesbrough Fight Academy has produced 2 Cage Warriors World Champions. We've managed to bring other lads up through the ranks. We've got Leon Arms in Cage Warriors now. We've got Joe Fields who's come through with Cage Warriors now. Me and George are definitely not going to be the last Cage Warriors champions to come out of Middlesbrough Fight Academy.
My name is George Hardwick. I'm 12 wins and 2 losses. I'm the Cage Warriors lightweight champion and I fight out of Middlesbrough. My brother is Harry Hardwick, the current featherweight Cage Warriors champion. He's the most important human in my life to me, and we've been fighting each other for decades now. I'm always playing Tekken, UFC Undisputed when I was a kid. In the landing, in the front room, always fighting each other. And then we think, let's get into this properly. So I'll Google it. Closest thing to me is a Muay Thai gym. And then after a couple of years, start MMA and it just explodes from there.
I feel like whenever I make my UFC debut, I'm going to enter to the intro music to Tekken 2. Having my brother to train with has been a big advantage in my career so far. We're not afraid to offend one another. We will criticize each other. We'll be very no-nonsense with each other. Like if we feel like one of us has an idea that is kind of crap, we'll point it out. There's not really any bickering on the technical martial arts side of things.
It's a very rare, unique thing to have someone who you can just ask at any moment, at any time, any question about martial arts or whatever it is, and he's on the same wavelength.
And it's just great. It's brought us both along so far.
It was a very, very special moment for me becoming the lightweight champion of Cage Warriors. It took a long time. There was a lot of cancellations. There was a lot of fights in the meantime to stay active. There was one time the fight was cancelled on the day due to the opponent testing positive for COVID. And then I finally got the opportunity against someone who was a Division 1 wrestler fighting out of AKA, and it was our small gym in Middlesbrough against the most established gym in the world, fighting against someone who was training with Khabib and Islam Makhachev.
As a cornerman and as being in a coaching capacity of George, you've got to detach your emotions. My job was to just be the best cornerman I could be. Warm him up the best I could, give the best advice, keep him as calm as I could.
First 2 rounds, I'm getting boxed up. I'm kind of getting embarrassed because I thought he was a wrestler and he's landing clean shots on me, bloodies my nose, bloodies my mouth. But in the 3rd round, I managed to drop him with a body shot. 4th round, I drop him again, and I'm actually thinking to myself, this is my belt as I'm landing each punch on the floor, and I just feel Mark Goddard step in, and it's just an explosion of emotion.
I jumped onto the cage and started rattling it like an animal.
It was an otherworldly feeling to get the belt in that situation. So much had happened in the fight camp. There were so many delays to actually finally fighting for that belt, and it was such a stellar competition, and it was such a hard fight. It's a real dream come true.
George Hardwick!
So fast forward to Cage Warriors 172 in Newcastle. It felt amazing to win the featherweight title in Newcastle. Like, that is as close to a hometown crowd as we could get. Everything just went according to plan. Just felt so right. The preparation was really good. Found my range in the fight straight away. It was almost dreamlike. It felt very surreal, and like I feel very grateful and fortunate to have had a moment like that in my life.
He held that moment himself. It's an amazing moment. It made me very, very emotional.
The fact that we are both Cage Warriors World Champions at the same time, the first brothers to do it, it's just a testament to the work that goes on in this gym.
We've got amazing people behind us. We've got our coach, Abdul Mohammed, who's been our coach since day one. He was a Cage Warriors welterweight champion himself. He was a cage raised champion, a real legend of MMA. And we've got our coach, Peter Irvin. And always, me and Harry are pushing each other.
We're a pretty bare bones gym. The roof doesn't keep the weather out. A lot of the equipment's a bit older. But what we're about is we're about producing fighters. We care about MMA, we care about the sport, we care about producing the best fighters that we can.
You know, ever since I started MMA, Harry and George have always been people I've looked up to. And they've, yeah, every day they inspire me to train, get better, and become the best fighter I can be. First time I stepped in the gym and I seen them hitting the bag, I seen them training, I was like, I want to be like them. And they've just keep elevating, and it just forces me to be like, I want to be like them. You know, I want to get to where they are, and they're just setting out a blueprint for it.
We're going to bring many, many lads through. Me and George are definitely not going to be the last Cage Warriors champions to come out of Middlesbrough Fight Academy.
I went on to defend the Cage Warriors lightweight belt twice. I got a message from Graham, do you want to do Contender Series? I asked my coach Abdul, Abdul's like, yeah, go Contender Series, go Vegas. And then I just signed straight away. I'm really easy to deal with in terms of fight contracts, I just say yes.
So walking out with George in the Apex, it's very different to a lot of fight experiences. There's no entrance song, there's no crowd really, or there's like very limited crowds.
On the fight, I was outpaced, I was outsmarted. There was no question my opponent won. He outlanded me pretty significantly. There was pockets where I managed to get some of my shots going, but it was all one and done. It wasn't the best performance. Credits to Abdul Karim Al-Salwadi. He put me in a mode of perception.
Because Abdul Karim Al-Salwadi subverted our expectations so well, I felt my cornering didn't catch up. So as a coach, I was quite disappointed in myself. I feel like I could have done better. Can't change the past, but you just got to learn from it and keep going.
The main regret is that I didn't get to act. I didn't put in the action. I was always leaving something. I was always hesitant about engaging in the way I know I can. And then over the next few days, I'm walking around Vegas and I'm just start crying my eyes out at random points. I know I'd f***ed up. In terms of regrouping after that fight, I'd been so active as a champion, there was a little decision between me and Harry. Take a little break, take a little breather, you know. Develop the game in different pockets and different aspects. Travel, get different looks, train with different training partners, work on different things physically.
Like there was a lot wrong with the process leading up to that fight. And then there was just some other technical faults that were a bit deeper rooted, and we fixed both of those things. And we just, I can't wait for people to see George in the cage again. I can't wait to just remind everyone of how good he is.
The goal, of course, is the UFC. Everyone wants to get finishes and get to the UFC, but right now, all that matters to me is to feel my feet on that canvas, and I don't want to leave the cage thinking that I had something left. I did that in Contenders, and it f***ing sticks with you. It sticks with you a long time. It's been over a year since I fought, and it still sticks with me. It still haunts me. So my opponent, Christian Orga, he's 7-1. He has a really good amateur record. He has a really good grappling resume. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He's a very tough opponent. He's fought through adversity in many fights. So I'm really going to have to accumulate the shots on him to put him away. Because the goal is still to put him away. His grappling's stellar, but I'm not afraid to go toe-to-toe or scramble for scramble. I don't care where this fight goes. Whether it takes 25 seconds or 25 minutes, all I want to do is put 100% effort into the full fight and leave no regrets. I'm coming for the finish. You know my resume. The finish is first. That's what I want.
There is UFC Paris around the corner, the potential of a short notice UFC call-up and stuff like that. But if that doesn't come, both of us have no problem defending our belts.
You know, I've never met anyone more driven and focused as these guys, and they're always improving, always trying to get better, finding new ways to improve the sessions and everything. So I have no doubt in my mind, when they do get to the UFC, they'll take over that organisation as well.
It is a dream for both of us to be the first brothers to win UFC champions. To do it simultaneously would be unbelievable. And then we'll probably, you know, both have personality differences because of the fame, start hating each other, and then have a champ-champ fight.